We often find ourselves in a peculiar predicament, quick to point out the flaws in others while conveniently overlooking identical imperfections in our own lives. This isn't just a simple oversight, it's a fundamental aspect of human perception, deeply rooted in cognitive biases that shape how we view ourselves versus the rest of the world. Imagine looking at yourself in a mirror and then looking at someone else through a window. The mirror reflects a familiar, self-curated image, one we've spent a lifetime perfecting and understanding, while the window offers a snapshot, a moment in time, often devoid of context or personal history. This difference in perspective is critical. It allows for a biased interpretation, where our actions are justified by unseen circumstances, but others' actions are seen as unmitigated failings. It's a selective empathy, a cognitive blind spot that allows us to hold a dual standard without even realizing it, often leading to the very hypocrisy we disdain in others. This isn't a moral failing as much as it is a cognitive shortcut, designed to protect our self-esteem and maintain a coherent self-narrative, even if that narrative is a carefully constructed illusion. The brain naturally seeks consistency, and if acknowledging our own faults would disrupt that consistency, it finds ways to rationalize them away, while the inconsistencies in others become glaringly obvious. One of the primary culprits behind this phenomenon is the fundamental attribution error. This psychological bias makes us attribute other people's actions to their character or disposition, while attributing our own actions to situational factors. For example, if someone cuts us off in traffic, our immediate thought might be, "What an aggressive driver," a judgment on their inherent personality. However, if we cut someone off, we might rationalize it by thinking, "I'm late for an important meeting," or "I didn't see them." The same action, yet two vastly different interpretations based solely on who is performing it. This bias isn't malicious, it's an efficiency tool. It's easier and quicker for our brains to make a snap judgment about someone's character than to meticulously consider all the potential external factors influencing their behavior. Our own internal monologue, however, is constantly supplying us with context, excuses, and justifications for our every move, creating an internal narrative that absolves us of blame where others might see clear fault. It's like having a personal lawyer constantly defending your every misstep, while you're simultaneously acting as the prosecutor for everyone else. This creates an imbalance where our own shortcomings are always understood, but the failings of others are seen as definitive proof of their character. Beyond the fundamental attribution error, the self-serving bias plays a significant role in this judgmental double standard. This bias leads us to attribute our successes to internal factors like skill and hard work, while attributing our failures to external factors such as bad luck or unfair circumstances. This cognitive strategy helps maintain our self-esteem and protect our ego. When we achieve something, it's because we're brilliant. When we stumble, it's because the system is rigged. This bias extends to how we perceive our actions that mirror those we criticize in others. If we engage in gossip, it's sharing important information. If someone else does it, it's malicious rumor mongering. If we take a shortcut, it's efficient. If someone else does, it's cheating. The justification for our own behavior is always readily available and internally consistent, whereas the actions of others are viewed through a lens of suspicion and less generous interpretation. This isn't necessarily a conscious act of malice, but rather an automatic defense mechanism of the mind, designed to keep our self-perception intact and positive, even at the expense of objective reality. It's a sophisticated mental gymnastics routine, allowing us to gracefully leap over our own moral hurdles while constructing impenetrable walls for others. Another contributing factor is the illusion of transparency, where we overestimate the degree to which our internal states, thoughts, and feelings are apparent to others. We assume people can read between the lines of our behavior and understand our underlying good intentions, even when our actions might seem contradictory. Conversely, we don't grant others the same benefit of the doubt, often assuming their actions are a direct reflection of their character, without hidden noble intentions. This is closely related to the spotlight effect, which makes us believe that others are paying far more attention to our appearance and behavior than they actually are. This heightened self-awareness can lead us to over-explain or over-justify our own actions, while the actions of others, not being under our perceived spotlight, are judged more harshly and without the benefit of our internal dialogue. We are the main characters in our own stories, and in those narratives, our motivations are always clear and often noble. Everyone else is a supporting character, whose actions are interpreted primarily in relation to our own narrative, often as obstacles or foils. This egocentric perspective reinforces the double standard, making it difficult to step outside our own shoes and truly empathize with the complex motivations of others. Overcoming this inherent judgmental tendency requires a conscious effort to bridge what is known as the empathy gap. It means actively challenging our automatic assumptions and biases rather than passively accepting them. This involves practicing perspective-taking, where we deliberately try to imagine the situational factors and internal motivations that might be influencing someone else's behavior, even if it's an action we find fault with. It means extending the same charity and understanding to others that we so readily offer ourselves, recognizing that just as our own lives are complex tapestries of intention and circumstance, so too are theirs. The goal isn't to absolve anyone of responsibility, but to cultivate a more nuanced and less knee-jerk understanding of human behavior, including our own. By consciously reflecting on our judgments and applying the same critical lens to ourselves that we apply to others, we can begin to dismantle the hypocrisy paradox, fostering a more equitable and empathetic view of the world around us and within ourselves. It's a continuous process, a form of cognitive recalibration that makes us more honest observers of both self and other.